the first part of the project is to get some reference images into the back plane and the side plane. So what we've needed is I've prepared them in Photoshop, and what we need to do is place two planes that we can use. So if I go up to the create menu and then polygon, and we've got a polygon that's 1 by 1, so it's just literally one polygon. We can just scale it up. It doesn't really matter at this stage. Just scale it up a little bit. We can create a model at any size, and then we'll make two. Go down to the create menu. If it's not there, you'll find it. Create material, that is, in material manager up here. I've got mine down here, so we'll create new material, double click on it, and then all we need to do is drop the reference image that we've created onto the colour channel, which is here. So we can load it in, and we'll do this one as the front, like so. We go down to editor and set that higher than the resolution of the image. So in this case I'll set it to 2048, and that'll give us a nice clean image. It'll render it cleanly in the screen there. And then we can just duplicate that, Command C, Command V, and what we'll do is with the first one we'll drop it onto the polygon like so. You can see it there. Now we want it in the looking down the Z-axis along here. So what we'll need to do is rotate it this way. So basically, if we just set our rotation to, let's just have a look which one, I think it's either 90 or minus 90, so 90 in this case. And then we can just move that back along that axis for now, out of the way. Duplicate that plane, so you can either go up here and duplicate it, or duplicate it like that. And then basically this time we want to just rotate it along here. So again we can just do 90 along here, and then we'll move that along that axis. You'll see it's moved along there. Doesn't matter how far along this plane you put it, because what's going to happen is when we look at it through these other views, it will just show. So let me just show you in the front view. Set the display to something that will show you the texture, and there you see it's basically just looking down that plane. We can have that all the way back as far as we want, so it makes no relevance how far down. You can see it doesn't change here in this window. So we'll just quickly show send this camera to the right. And we'll do the same again, we'll do garage shading. And then change the texture. This one should be the side texture, so we'll delete that off, and we'll open up the second one that we did, and we'll change that image to the side like so, and drag and drop that on, and that'll give us the side image. If you look at it in the perspective window now, we've got a front and we've got a side to model to, and again you can choose where to move these to suit. Now what we will probably want to do is make sure that the model is going to sit firmly in the centre of the world, so that would be in the middle of the x-axis, like so. I'll put the middle of the body in the x-axis, try and zoom in for you there, and the tail going back out along Z, and it doesn't really matter about the back one, but what we will actually do is just move it a little bit, so we've got a cube like so. Bring that one in tighter. Doesn't need to be done like that, but then you can do whatever you want in terms of where you place it. Now I can put the feet firmly on the 0 on Y, so on the floor, so to speak, and that means that when we make the creature, it will be standing on this grid as the floor. So that'll be like that. Now, while you're modelling, what you can do is accidentally hit these planes. So we need a way to lock them. So an easy way to do it is, first of all, let me rename them. So from polygon, we'll call this one just side ref, and the second one we'll call it back ref, like so. We'll put them both, we'll select them both, and we'll put them both into a group that we'll just call refs. So if we ever need to move them as a whole now, we'll just move the ref. And then what we'll do is add each one by right clicking onto a new layer, and the second one onto a new layer. And that way we can turn each one on and off as needed. So if we go to the layer menu here, and you'll see there's a little lock icon, so click them both and lock, and then both of them can't be touched. Now we can see them from the back, which isn't necessarily a thing that we want to do. So one way to deal with that is if we just go to display, so not display, go to options, configure, and then view, and then click backface culling. When you go around the back, you can see there that the backface is culled just a little. If you ever need to look at it from this side, it just hides it from there. Now you won't do much modelling through this side anyway, because we're going to do symmetrical modelling. So realistically, most of the modelling will be done on this side. Now if you notice there, we've kept this back reference right on the Z axis, which is what we definitely want. And what I think we'll do is we're going to start this mesh with a cube. So we'll just select, create a cube, and we'll just throw it up a little bit higher and just scale it down a little bit like so. It's going to sit, it doesn't really matter at this stage where it sits. So you can see there it's going to be roughly in its chest size, shape, chest area, like so. And then we need to make it symmetrical, so I use something called, we'll just rename that as body for now. So we've got some kind of a naming convention going on already. And if you right click on body, you'll see this here, which is a plugin called True Symmetry. There's lots of different symmetry options you can use. I just happen to use this one. It gives me that plane showing me the symmetry there. So anything I edit on this side will be mirrored on that side. So we're only going to be modelling this half of the model. And then if that becomes a pain for you in terms of that yellow display which is showing you the symmetry, you can do one of two things. You can just change the colour like so, so it's hardly noticeable. Either a black or a white I think works. In this case the black worked best, like so. Or even better, once you're more familiar with this, you can just hide it altogether. So you can just click off show plane, and there you go. You're not going to see it at all. Now as we start modelling on this side, you're going to be able to see all of the changes reflected on this side. And that's it really for setting up the scene. What we'll do now is we'll start the next video with building the basics of the body, quite a low polygon, but the overall cage of the body.